all my ATL people, all of the dogs and the poodles. Shouts out to the folks in the Two Live Stews chat room on Facebook. Always some crazy stuff going on in there. If you want to listen or join in on some crazy chat in sports, sometimes where it goes too far, check out the Two Live Stews chat page. It's Two Live Stews with an exclamation point. And a lot of interesting discussions going on in there about sports and beyond. All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. And this segment is brought to you by Join 7. Join 7 is a protection group, and they protect against life's mishaps. Pay one price. It's kind of like insurance. You pay one price. And so if some of the little small things in life outside of like death or a major car accident happen, you'll understand what I'm talking about once you check it out. Go to my website, The Doug Stewart Show, and click on their banner link, Join 7. All right, now, so from what I understand, my production team has set up a call. We're going to talk to Bill from Pitt's Barbershop. He grew up in Detroit. He lives in Ann Arbor, and he runs Pitt's Barbershop, and it's in walking distance from the stadium. Let's talk to Bill. Bill, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. How you doing, Bill? Hey, Bill? Whoa, Bill. Okay, no Bill. So we'll try to get Bill back on the line. I don't know what happened with Bill, but I threw it out there to my production team to get me a barber. Let's do an old school Stu's Barbershop roll call where we talk to somebody in the area where some interesting sports stories are going on and get a pulse of the streets and see what the streets are saying about said situation. But the Atlanta Falcons, they travel this weekend to New York to take on the New York Giants. The Giants are going for their third win in a row. The Falcons are reeling from the loss this past weekend, and you are listening to the Doug Stewart Show. They're reeling from the loss this past weekend to the Minnesota Vikings and Teddy Bridgewater, who showed out, looked like a 10-year veteran. Yes, he looked like a 10-year veteran. So the Falcons are going to go up and take on the Giants. The Giants have kind of turned things around. If you've watched what they're going early on, I think they lost their first two games. They won their next two, and so now they're trying to go for three in a row. And it's going to be a tough task. I mentioned a little bit earlier in today's show about the Falcons and all of the injury situations that they have. And so they're going to have to fight real hard. And the offense is going to have to probably go the extra mile to get a win against Eli and the Giants. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are taking on the Miami Hurricanes. And the Georgia Bulldogs host the Vanderbilt Commodores. And Vanderbilt's back to being Vanderbilt. They had been doing real good under James Franklin before he left to take the job in Penn State. And I'm not going to say real good, but better than traditionally Vanderbilt does. So it looks like Vanderbilt is back to life, back to reality, because they suck right now. Look for Georgia to put a walloping on them this coming weekend in Athens. All right, so I think we got Bill back on the line. Bill, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show for this barbershop roll call. How you doing, Bill?
Real good. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. So we're talking to Bill. Bill, his barbershop, Pitt's Barbershop, is not too far from Ann Arbor. Big supporter of the program. Bill, what's going on? What's the real story? We heard that really the students are protesting what's going on with this situation with Shane Morris this past weekend, but they're intertwining their disgust for the fact that the athletic director has taken a lot of their tickets away. What's really going on up there with the University of Michigan program?
Well, the fiasco on Saturday with Shane Morris, that's just kind of the last straw. And there's been a long series of events that have occurred, and people are really unhappy with the athletic director, Dave Brandon. And this was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. People really like Brady Hoke a lot, but most people think he's just in over his head as coach at Michigan. So they don't really want to badmouth him. However, the athletic director has just alienated almost everybody except some big donors that he, has cultivated. And he's a good fundraiser. He's a pretty charming guy, and he's a salesman, and there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you don't try to sell people in your own family, and Michigan athletics has always been sort of a community, kind of a family thing, and he's just kind of destroying the whole family concept.
Talking to Bill Kriebel from Pitt's Barbershop. He's the owner. Grew up in Detroit, lives in Ann Arbor. He owns Pitt's Barbershop, walking distance from the stadium. So we're trying to get some intel with some people with boots on the ground in Ann Arbor. Bill, can you ever remember, you've been following Michigan football your entire life, I'm sure. Can you ever remember a time where Michigan football has been so down? They showed this past weekend in the loss to Minnesota the stands, and the stands were empty at the Big House, and that's just unbelievable. How bad is it right now around this program?
Well, it's really bad. People are disgusted, and it's not. There's so many factors. There's no confidence really that it'll get better with Dave Brandon in control of the athletic department. People think that no really good coach would even want to work for him, and so they don't think he's capable of hiring a really good coach to come in. And in terms of the attendance, everybody knows those are bogus figures, that they're basically, fibbing about how many people are in the stadium, and because they've got this streak of 100,000 attendance. Mm-hmm. But the last couple of games, they haven't had 100,000 people there, and yet they're fudging the numbers. That's what everybody thinks.
Wow. Well, Bill, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, man. And and I said this earlier, Bill. I'm sure you weren't listening to the show, but you can listen to the show online at the Doug Stewart Show on Spreaker.com. I said this earlier. In pro football, it's good if certain teams are winning. And I feel the same way about Michigan. I mean, Michigan has to be winning football games, especially in the Big Ten, being one of the big names in the Big Ten. It's not good when Michigan football isn't good, I think, Bill.
Well, I would have to agree. And, so it'll probably take a few years, but, we need to get the athletic department straightened out and hire a new coach. Or let the new athletic director straighten things out.
Bill Pitts from Pitt's Barbershop in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Bill, thank you so much for your time, man.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
There he is, Bill Pitts right there on the barbershop roll call, Pitt's Barbershop in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yes! I love that. And Bill sounds like, he owns a business and everything, so he's a little bit older. So he's seen, Michigan football from top to bottom. You go straight to the source. We go to the streets. That's what we do on the Doug Stewart Show. Yes. The studio audience even loves it. Thank you, studio audience. Exactly right. And so it's displeasure really with the program itself. Kind of like people are, Raiders fans are displeased with what's going on in the front offices with the Oakland Raiders. Same scenario, it sounds like. People are mad because the program is just sucks right now. It's just sorry. And so, I can only imagine. And at the Big House, they can seat 100,000. But damn it, they didn't have about 30,000 in there this past weekend. Now, I know it probably started out with a lot more, but midway through the game, when it started to reveal itself that they were going to lose this one as well, they had a couple of losses this year. I think they've got 2 wins. People started filing out of there. Nobody leaves a big-time college program's game like that. But you do when you want to show your displeasure. And so that's what's going on at Michigan right now. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. 404-382-0338 is the number. So, that's some good stuff right there. That's the type of stuff that we're going to do on this show, on the Doug Stewart Show. We're going to talk about whatever people are talking about. We're going to talk about the passions. We're going to get the inside story, not necessarily from a writer, which we do have those guys on, or someone else tied in directly to the sport. But sometimes we got to talk to the people, and that's what we just did. We talked to Bill, and Bill gave us the sentiment of a lot of fans in Michigan. It's not so much, and we said this earlier, it's not so much about what's going on with Brady Hoke and the fact that he's not a good coach. And Bill said it as many words as Brady Hoke might be a great guy, but he's just over his head. He's clearly over his head, and I think that thing with that type of situation, that type of thing just matriculates throughout the program, and it kind of festers, and you have what you have now. You get less players to sign with your program because they don't believe in you. Their parents don't believe in you. They feel like that you're just over your head. And so you start to lose the talent. And the coaches aren't as good as he probably could have hired as far as his coordinators and offense and defense. So it's just like a snowball effect, and that's what appears to be going on at the University of Michigan. 404-382-0338. I got a couple of messages here on my chat line for Spreaker.com. And make sure you go on Spreaker.com and follow me. Just don't listen, okay? You need to follow me. Go to Spreaker.com and follow the show. Reason being is the show is every Monday through Friday from 11 to 1, but sometimes, and that's Eastern time, but sometimes I'm going to do special shows. So I'll do a show leading up to maybe the Super Bowl or leading up to a big fight. Now, I love boxing, so we'll probably do some boxing commentary at some point or anything. So go to Spreaker.com and follow the show. Tell 2 people. That's all that I ask. I'm not asking a lot. Damn it, I'm not asking you for $1 or nothing like that. But if I could get $1 from each one of you, it would make things a lot easier around here. You know a brother ain't worked in 2 years. A brother ain't got a paycheck in 2 years this month. So go to Spreaker.com and follow your boy. All right, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. But here's the chat on Spreaker. It says, fame destroys the soul. And that's from Open Thinking Dude on podcast. He says, you're from the upstate, Doug? That's another message. And I guess he was referring earlier. He said that his father, Open Thinking podcast dude, who's listening to the show from the Netherlands, I believe he has his own show as well. So check him out at Open Thinking Dude podcast. But he mentioned earlier to me, I mentioned how I played football at Newberry College. He said earlier that his dad went to Gardner-Webb. And I think Gardner-Webb is the Bulldogs. Yeah, I played against Gardner-Webb in 1988. And they whooped our ass. Part of the reason why I left Newberry College was because we sucked. And I'm not going to hang around a program that sucks. Now, Newberry has done a lot of great things in the last couple of years. They've actually won their conference a couple of years. But I had to get the hell out of here. Yes. And they promised me all these things. I actually played a lot. I started some games in 1988. But some disputes with coaches and a difference of opinion and ideals. Had to get the hell out of there. And yes, we did play against the Gardner-Webb. I think they were the Bulldogs. And they put foot in our ass. They just did. That's why I had to get the hell from out of there. I had to get from out of there. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show. We'll grab more of your calls. We'll read more of your tweets, your chat, all that type of stuff. What's really going on at the University of Michigan? Thank you to Bill again for giving us a call. Was it Bill or Bob? I think it was Bill. Thank you for giving us a call, Bill, and from your barbershop and giving us a perspective that we really appreciate it. But when we get back, we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about football, which we do every single day around here. I mean, it doesn't matter the day. This is a Word on the Street Wednesday, but we talk football anytime, and we'll do it like that. Don't go away. It's the Doug Stewart Show. Welcome to Atlanta, my SC State Bulldog family. Once again, your boy Stu is throwing the biggest party of the year, October 3rd, 2014, in honor of the classic game being played in Atlanta that Saturday. It's only for the grown and sexy, though. The party will be held in the Georgia Ballroom in the Crown Plaza Hotel, located at 590 West Peachtree Street, Northwest ATL, starting at 10 p.m. Atlanta's own DJ Cowboy playing all the old school hits. You know how he do. It's going to be crazy. Last year at Asia, 4 years ago at Shout, this year at the Crown Plaza. Bananas! Advance tickets are $20 for a limited time, so get yours at theclassicparty.eventbrite.com. Last year, over 1,000 people kicked it hard at ATL with your boy. And to quote the great Sidney Poitier, let's do it again. See you in Atlanta. What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company, but they understand how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you so that they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better